5, and this is our public relations research project from this past semester. I'm Meredith Rasnick.
I'm Ronnie Rhodes.
I'm Grant Waldvogel.
I'm Amber Pence.
I'm Kennedy Plott.
I'm Natalie Portman.
And this is our research.
Our primary purpose during our research was to effectively gain knowledge within volunteer opportunities and donation habits of our primary publics.
Specifically, what we're researching in regards to Second Chance are the attitudes, behaviors, and knowledge that people have specifically within our key public of college and high school students.
In order to obtain the data needed, we used the following methods: interviews, a focus group, a survey, in-depth research, consumer data, public data sets, scholarly reports, and social media analysis.
So Second Chance Animal Sanctuary in Norman, Oklahoma has been serving the greater Norman area since 1989. They're a registered 501c3 nonprofit, and they rely primarily on donations, actually entirely on donations. Second Chance is set apart from other sanctuaries in that it's a no-kill shelter. So their mission and their primary goals really feed into their no-kill attitude about animals always having a home and a second chance within the Norman and greater Oklahoma City areas.
So upon conducting this research, we did a SWOT analysis, which really helped us to divide up our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for this organization. When doing this, what we found was one of the biggest strengths was the fact that Second Chance has a very positive and communicable message. The fact that they work to help animals get into suitable and loving homes that not only work for the animals but work for the future owners is very positive and very helpful for helping people to understand why they should go to Second Chance. Another very good opportunity here is the opportunity for volunteers. Being a passion project and working with shelter animals is something a lot of people are interested in being involved in, which creates a lot of potential opportunity for people to get more involved with Second Chance and in turn tell more people about Second Chance. Along with this, they have very good pre-adoption screening, which helps to qualify them as an adoption center and make people understand that the dogs are well vetted, well treated, and are not just focused on getting into any home but a suitable home. And should that home not work out, this shelter also offers continuous second chances, meaning that they will take the dog back or the cat back if it does not work out in the home placement and find it a new and suitable home. The weaknesses within this organization are the fact that there is a very low social media presence, which means that there's a lack of awareness by people specifically in this public who are very prevalent in social media. That in turn leads to a lack of brand recognition, which means when people are thinking about adopting an animal or volunteering with animals, their first thought is to go to these places that they recognize and associate with this idea, which means they'll go to places like Craigslist or private breeders or brand name pet stores in order to move forward with this. Another problem with this organization is the website. The website does not necessarily promote their message in a way that shows joy and happiness that is a possibility of getting one of these animals, but more so promotes a sense of urgency and sadness and guilt within people to get these animals from the shelter. However, within all of this, there's an excellent opportunity here to move forward. There's many volunteer initiatives that could take place, making students and other people in this community more motivated to come in and work with these animals. There are fundraisers that could be had, many benefit nights where you can promote the animals, let people come and experience what it's like to work with them and what it's like to play with them and just how the overall function of the shelter goes. And another opportunity lies heavily within social media. Right now, they're really only present on Facebook, which is a problem because many people within our key public of college and high school students don't utilize this platform as much as other social media platforms. It's important that Second Chance find a consistent channel of communication to work with these students, work with these people in this age group and community, and really help them to understand what Second Chance is about and why they should choose to volunteer or adopt from this shelter. The threats here are the fact that big name pet stores are just automatically going to have more recognition, which means it's very important to get all of this information out there to help people understand and be aware of Second Chance. Another problem here is that people have a stigma about shelter animals. Second Chance needs to work on making people understand that shelter animals are suitable and loving animals that do not come with health and emotional trauma.
The first research method that our group conducted was the in-depth interviews. We had 6 participants aged 17 to 39 5 females and 1 male, 1 high school student, 4 college students, and 1 previous Second Chance board member. The primary goal for this research method was to get a little bit more information from everyday people and especially our key publics. Our research questions were: what information do our publics that are mainly high school and college students need to donate and volunteer, and what previous backgrounds they have with donating and volunteering. The main trend that we found within the research was that there's a general lack of awareness with Second Chance. The people have heard of them, but they don't know much more beyond the name and kind of what they do as a no-kill shelter. A minor trend that we found is that they want to volunteer and get involved, but they don't know how to. And in order to change this, Second Chance should definitely promote their efforts and go to schools and possibly do some outreach programs to get a better recognition around norming. The subject that was in high school brought up saying that if Second Chance came to our school to talk about volunteer opportunities and donations and even adoption opportunities with the organization, that could really increase their awareness. And for high school and college age students, they definitely need to have some volunteer opportunities within their organizations, and that would be a good way for Second Chance to have some more volunteers.
The next primary research we conducted was the survey. Our main focus with the research method was to assess public perception towards volunteering with and donating to nonprofit organizations, specifically towards Second Chance. While the end of interviews and focus groups were helpful, the survey helped ensure we were receiving specific and honest information from our target publics. For the purposes of the survey, our initial research questions remain the same, as we are focused on what motivates high school and college students to volunteer and donate with Second Chance and other nonprofit organizations, and to also understand what type of information is needed to motivate the demographic to do just that. Our survey consisted of 33 questions split into 7 categories: past volunteering and donation behaviors, knowledge and perception of the organization, attitudes and behaviors towards the organization, media behaviors, and participant demographics. After creating the survey in OU Qualtrics, we distributed the link to anyone with access to the internet, but we specifically reached out to high school and college students that we knew personally. The link was shared on Facebook, the GroupMe app, through text message, and through email. From here, participation in the survey was completely voluntary, and it was up to participants to determine whether they would complete the survey or not.
On October 31st at 12 p.m., we conducted a focus group of 6 college students. We intended on including high school students as well, but due to their time constraints on their schedule, they were not able to participate. Before the focus group began, we passed out a questionnaire to learn more about our participants' demographics, and then we led into the first question, just what do you know about Second Chance, with no additional information given. And most people had heard of it, but didn't know anything about volunteering or donation opportunities. Then we passed around one of Second Chance's brochures and just kind of asked what the initial reactions were, and everybody agreed that there was too much text and the dark colors were sort of depressing, and they would feel more inclined if it was more hopeful and happy and upbeat vibe. In addition to the brochure, they don't have a very strong social media presence, which would have affected the focus group participants' opinions on the organization. And then they also gave some suggestions about how they should improve their social media presence and advertising means. And just lastly, the main takeaway was that people would be more inclined to get involved if they felt like they were going to be able to make a difference, and just for a hopeful view on the outcome of their service.
Our final primary research we conducted was the content analysis. With this method, we were primarily concerned with analyzing the attitudes, behaviors, and opinions towards Second Chance. We studied these items through the organization's Google reviews, where we hope to identify what the public thinks of the nonprofit and what areas they can be revamped through a public relations campaign. We began by focusing on 111 reviews of Second Chance left on Google from November 16th, 2017 to November 16th, 2018. This was a non-random sampling technique, and we chose this method in this time frame because it was notable that the people tended to leave reviews of the organizations based on their experiences, and it would be helpful to understand how those experiences can impact future donors and volunteers.
For the purposes of the content analysis, we evaluated the content of the Google reviews by coding and breaking the content into several different categories. These categories included username, the subject of the review, the nature of the review, whether that be positive, negative, or neutral, the rating given on a 5-point scale, how recently the review was left, and the total number of words given in the review. In assessing and analyzing the Google reviews, we mainly measured the effectiveness of the shelter's operations, their customer service history, and the public's overall satisfaction with Second Chance Animal Sanctuary. The results indicated several trends. First, most of the reviews were positive, which was notable because based on keywords, number of words, and the subject matter, it was clear that they were satisfied with their experience. Most individuals were pleased with the organization's services and care for the animals. On the other hand, negative reviews were mainly concerned with interactions with the staff as a whole, rather than the organization's services. This research method helped us in understanding what areas Second Chance needs to improve in to increase donors and volunteers in the future.
In evaluating the survey responses using SPSS statistics, we utilized descriptive statistics through frequency by asking questions addressing how often respondents have engaged in volunteer or donation behaviors in the past. Using nominal distribution, the group asked if participants had heard of Second Chance and volunteering opportunities there, and 38 people said yes, which is 42%, and 52 people, 58%, said no. The data shows that awareness of opportunities to volunteer at Second Chance is generally low, and it is unclear which sources would be best to advertise these opportunities about the organization. These research questions are not supported, so the group cannot predict anything or answer the research questions with this data. In looking at if people had heard of donation opportunities at Second Chance, 67 surveyed respondents, which is 77.3%, said no, and 23 people, 22.7%, said yes. This data supports the research because after conducting the interviews and focus group, we assumed students were not aware of donation opportunities.
So when calculating this, we found that the research did not support that participants viewed volunteering at an animal shelter as important as they did with other nonprofit organizations. When we calculated the research, what we found was that the mean did not support the idea that students wanted to volunteer with Second Chance Animal Shelter. We found that regardless of the types of motivators they were experiencing, students showed the same level of intent both in high school and in college to participate and volunteer with this organization. When we calculated it, we found that the mean was 3.8 and the standard deviation was 1.004, further supporting the notion that people were not as involved with Second Chance, nor did they want to be in comparison to other organizations.
So based off our research efforts over the semester through the in-depth interview, the focus group, the survey, and the content analysis, here are the suggestions that we want to present to Second Chance in order to help them increase their donate and volunteer participation in high school and college students.
Second Chance has the opportunity to specifically let volunteers know what service areas are available and what they could be potentially be doing within their volunteer hours. And the organization can extend outreach efforts to the college campus and identifying to students what possibilities they can be involved with Second Chance Norman.
So an important part of that would be many students are in need of internships and practical experience outside of the classroom. So maybe, for instance, that is a supply chain management student in Price College of Business. And so they could come and work for Second Chance and help them manage their supplies and their volunteers and all of that, but are also getting real world experience before they move on to their jobs. So the second suggestion would be that it is important that Second Chance connects with these target audiences on social media besides just Facebook. They need to look into Instagram, having an active account, posting stories, things like that, as well as potentially sending out emails. And our final suggestion is that overall, Second Chance does a better job of just clearly communicating their needs, whether that be for volunteers or their donations. Specifically donations, they have an Amazon wish list going, and they have needs that they are always taking donations for, but no one knows. And so it's just important that they publicize that on these online social media channels and through their efforts on campuses and in high schools and all around, just to communicate to each of these target audiences what their needs are and how they can help.
Thank you guys for informing our study, and if you guys have any questions or want to reach out to us, feel free to reach out via email.
Thank you so much for listening to our suggestions. It's been our pleasure to work with you all this semester, and we really hope that these efforts will help your donation and volunteer bases go up and in a better effort to serve animals in the Norman area.